Everybody, my name is Matthew Rothwell. I'm one of the directors at M&Y, and thank you for joining us for our second of these DPS events, our supplier engagement events. Just a couple of housekeeping things, and then I'm gonna hand over to our managing director, Jill Kelly. Everybody has been muted when they've been admitted, so if everyone could please stay on mute because there's a lot of people on this call. We manage questions via the chat function. So if you can use the chat function, type any questions you've got in there, and at the end of the presentation, we'll go through as many questions as possible and answer them as best we can. But just to reiterate, if everybody could stay on mute, that'd be really helpful. Again, if anyone's got any technical problems, just please pop them into the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them. So, Jill, hand over to yourself.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Matt. So welcome everybody. This is the second event that we've done. They're not as easy as seeing everybody in person. So if there's any technical difficulties, please bear with us. So we're hoping by the end of this event, you'll understand exactly how you can work with M&Y and what M&Y is about. Can we go on to the next slide, please, Matthew? Okay, so the agenda for this session is, first of all, we'll go through an introduction to M&Y so you can know a little bit about the business. Then there'll be an overview of the DPS system that we're putting in place. We'll talk through some of the upcoming projects of work M&Y are looking to do that we could do with your help with. What the next steps are as part of putting together this DPS, key contact information, and then we'll go through any questions that you put through on the chat, and hopefully between us all we can answer pretty much everything. If there's anything we can't answer, if you share your email, we'll come back to you on that. Next slide, please, Matthew. So today involved in this chat room is myself. So my name's Jill Kelly and I'm the Managing Director of M&Y. There's also Matthew Rothwell, who's the Director of Safety and Business Development. Kev Moses is on the call as well, who's the Director of Operations. We've got Ian Phillips, who's the Head of Commercial at M&Y. Abigail Kelly, who's our new Business Manager. We've got Michael and Hayley, who are our Commercial Support Officers. Emma, who's our Marketing and Communications Officer. Kate, who's our Assistant Director of Business Transformation, and Ian Robertson, who is the Director of ICT to support any technical difficulties. So just a brief introduction to M&Y really. So the business used to belong to my dad and has been trading for 40 years. And about 11 years ago, the business was acquired by the Regender Group, so quite a big organisation. It's a family business. We started off very, very small and we've grown to quite a decent sized business now. But what we've tried to do is keep those values that got us to where we are today. I think that helps us work with the supply chain, because whatever size you are, if you from a one-man band, we've been there ourselves, so we understand what that's about. So M&Y, now we've got 240 directly employed staff. And as I say, we're part of the Regender Group. Now the Regender Group, Regender Homes, they own 13,000 properties across the Northwest. So we deliver all their construction and all of their repairs and maintenance for them. And what's really good about being part of the Regender Group is M&Y generate profit for purpose. So what that means is we're a commercial organisation. We behave exactly like an independent commercial business. We generate profits from the work that we do, but all the profits that we generate go back into the group to do great things in the community. So it's actually quite a good feeling to work with M&Y, because any margins that are made from working with us and delivering work doesn't go and buy a villa in Spain. It actually goes to building new homes and improving communities right across the Northwest. And to do this, we need a really good supply chain to support us, and a supply chain who's got the same values as us, so tries to employ locally as much as possible. We always make sure that we pay our supply chain, so we pay on time, and just treat people exactly how we want to be treated. And I think that's how we've been as successful as we have been. And that's what we're looking for really. So next slide, please, Matthew. So our ambition is we turn over at just under 30 million at the moment, and we want to be a 50 million pound business in the next 5 years. And that 50 million will be broken down probably around 30 million of maintenance and 20 million of construction. And to deliver that ambition, we want reliable subcontractors who can help us grow and be successful. And because we've got really social values at heart, you know, we want to see you guys become successful as well, and anything that we can do to help you. So, you know, I'll give an example of that. When we first went into COVID in March and April time this year, any of our supply chain who were struggling with the COVID risk assessments and helping them get, you know, making sure they were safe and on site, we can do that extra help because we want you guys to work with us. So any help that we can give you, we will do. And part of that ambition is to build homes to be proud of. We don't tend to build your bog standard off the shelf homes. You know, we've got quite a diverse portfolio of properties, that from apartment blocks to quite luxury homes for sale that have ranged up to £300,000. So we build a lot of different homes and properties. And that's what we also need help with. And we also always put our customers first. We recognise that without our customers, you know, we wouldn't be anywhere. And the way we treat our customers is exactly how we would want to be treated. So if we'd taken a day off to have a repair done and somebody didn't turn up for us, it's really frustrating. So if we arrange a repair with our customers and something happens and we can't get there, we always make sure that we inform them and they know when we can go there again. So it's just that kind of, you know, general behavior, exactly how you would want to be treated. You know, when you're doing business with anyone, that's how we treat our customers. And by doing this and being successful and growing to 50 million, we can do a lot more community work that we do now. As part of the group that we are, we've got a homeless charity. We've got a nursery that specialises in supporting children and families that have been victims of domestic violence. And we've got a college as well that it specialises in students who've had really challenging backgrounds. And we do a lot of work for them to try and you know, make, for every pound that we make, we try and stretch it so it actually gives, you know, 3 times the value out there in the communities of value. And also we can give our profit to great causes. So that's what we're trying to do, to summarise. I'll pass you on to Abigail now, who'll talk to you about what is a DPS.
Okay, so just to give a bit of guidance of the dynamic purchasing system that we have implemented. So this is a pre-approved supplier framework. So it supports businesses to procure and then manage their supply chain once contracts have been awarded. So it's basically a pre-vetting process that allows us to have a pre-approved supply chain that we know are eligible to tender for works with us and meet our requirements in terms of health and safety, quality standards, values driven like ourselves, so wanting to give back to the community. So this will bring about joint benefits for M&Y and also the suppliers and subcontractors that we work with. So it'll provide a compliant procurement route. It also will provide a streamlined, centralised process. So no matter which work stream you work on, everyone will go through the same process to ensure it's fair and centralised as well. It'll provide better management of supplier documentation. So up to this point, it's been a very much manual process. So this will allow it to be system-based, which hopefully will make it a lot easier for yourselves as well as us. It allows us to go into formal contracts with our supply chain. So as part of the partnership approach that we are looking to adopt. One of the benefits as well is you can apply or reapply at any time. So our DPS will be open for a 10-year period. So in that time frame, if you do put forward an initial application and for whatever reason you don't meet the minimum requirements, if your circumstances change, you are able to reapply. So there is a lot of choice and opportunity throughout the time period to get on. And as we're part of a wider group, there will be a diverse range of opportunities to work with us on this DPS as well. So if you go to the next slide, please, Matt. So just to go through briefly the process for you guys. So stage 1, which is the standard selection questionnaire, this is currently open for applications now. So we've got an initial deadline, which is the 21st of December. but it will be reopening in the new year for the 10-year period, open for applications at any point. So this is to assess you against the minimum requirements, as said before. So it'll be looking at basic company information, your insurances, your health and safety. So it should be standard documents that you already have. We have made it as straightforward as we can for you. Stage 2, so once you've done the due diligence and we've gone through the minimum requirements, if you pass and you're appointed onto the DPS, you'll then be eligible to tender for any work. So this will be when we go through awarding contracts. So as part of the stage 2, you will be given a pricing document specification, and there will be some social value and some quality elements depending on the scope and value of the works as well. Just to reassure you as well, there will be support available throughout the process. So both at stage 1 and stage 2, there is a Q&A section on the portal. So you will be able to contact us with any support that you do need along the way. If you could go to the next slide, please. So just to give you an introduction into our DPS specifically, so we've launched a supplier DPS and a subcontractor DPS. Both are open for the 10-year period. The works will be predominantly across the Northwest, and we've got 49 subcontractor lots and 16 material lots. So there's no limit to the amount of lots that you can apply for, so you can apply for any lot that's relevant to your business and the services or supplies that you deliver. And Kev will touch on this a little bit later, but some of the stuff that we do, which will give you a flavour of what we are looking at procuring, is responsive repairs, maintenance, refurbishment, so planned investment works, minor and major, M&E, fireworks and construction as well. So I'll hand you over to Kev, who will go through our geographical area and the work streams that we deliver.
Thanks, Abby. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kevin Moses, as introduced, Director of Operations. In the next couple of slides, I'd like to share with you some of the challenges and the reason why we've launched this DPS, which is to work with local people, local suppliers and local contractors. So quite a widespread geographical area, that those 13,000 properties that we maintain on a day-to-day basis for the Regenda Group, mainly split into 3 larger areas, which is Merseyside, Greater Manchester and Lancashire. So if you looked at regionally, we go as far north as Lancaster, down through Blackpool, Preston, across to East Manchester, Oldham, across to Liverpool, the Wirral, and as far south as Cheshire. So as you can appreciate, quite a large area. When we look at some of the services that we deliver on a day-to-day basis, so if we looked at responsive repairs, if we put that into some sort of numbers, we would complete in the region of about 3,000 day-to-day repairs per month, most of which are delivered with our direct labour. But as you can appreciate, peaks and troughs, there's certain elements and times of years where we need the support of our contractors, and also we need the support across the year of our specialist contractors. So the main areas that we do deliver in-house are your typical plastering, plumbing, joinery, etc. But the other specialist areas such as roofing and drainage, we are looking for existing contractors and also some new contractors. Planned maintenance. So what does planned maintenance or investment programs look for us? Typically in an annual year, and I'll cover some of the financial turnover on the next slide, we would look at delivering around about £9 to £10 million worth of planned investment works. They range between your kitchens, bathrooms, heating installations, windows, doors, roofs, roofline works. So all your typical large investment works that are completed in all of those 3 geographical areas per year to invest in that 13,000 property stock profile. We also deliver facilities management as well, so cleaning of all the communal schemes and the offices across the Northwest, and also in facilities management is our grounds maintenance, so all the open spaces owned by the Regenda Group and some of our external third-party customers. We deliver the grounds maintenance, which is on a programme of cutting the grass, the shrubs, and also arborist and tree surgery work. Full M&E service, as mentioned, so all your typical gas servicing, breakdowns, repairs. We work on a 10-monthly landlord's gas safety record service programme. We're also working currently to a 5-year electrical fixed wire testing programme across those. 13,000 properties, along with all your other M&E work such as breakdowns, repairs, electrical rewires, etc. Some of the more specialist programs that we are delivering for the next 2 to 3 years is an external wall insulation program, predominantly in Fleetwood up there in Lancashire or Wyre. And that's the whole house fabrication. So it's not just an external wall insulation, it's roof replacements, extraction of cavity fill, cavity ties, below DPC works, windows, doors, and also finally the installation of external wall insulation, mostly of which is subcontracted. And again, we need people to support the delivery of that particular project. I mentioned about the grounds maintenance, refurbishments. So we do have a full void process as well. So when a property becomes empty, we bring that up to a lettable standard, clears, cleans, and all your remedial works ready for the new customer to move in. Typically on a monthly basis, between 90 and 100 empty properties that we refurbish on a monthly basis. So those are empties, but you know, we need to turn them around relatively quickly, ready for the new customer to move in. And again, 24 hours. So we do provide a service, as you'd expect, an emergency service, 24 hours a day across and throughout the year. And that's for making safe repairs predominantly. Next slide, please, Matthew. So to give you some idea regarding financial values of those work streams that I have just mentioned, I mentioned about the external wall insulation and all the associated works that goes with it. So on an annual basis, that particular project of turnover to M&Y is about 4.2 million. Responsive repairs, those repairs that I've mentioned, which is about 3,000 a month, 4.8 million. And again, as just to reiterate, you know, a large portion of this work, we do have our own direct labour, but the people that we do need is suppliers to support the material procurement to that direct labour, but also these contractors that are willing to work with us to help deliver that quality service to our customers. Roofing, again, mainly on a planned program, but we also have responsive repairs and remedial works, you know, just over 2 million. Facilities management, your cleaning, your grounds maintenance, and then we go on to your M&E packages, and that's between your gas servicing and upgrades, boiler swaps, full central heating installations, and your electrical fixed wire testing, again round about £1 million each. Hope that's given you an idea of some of the services, core services we deliver. I'll hand over to Ian now, who will run you through some of the construction projects.
Thanks, Kev. We also have a new build division that delivers mainly housing schemes throughout the Northwest. Predominantly, this is for agenda, but we also work with external bodies and are about to start sites with Weavervale Housing Trust and Wigan Council. On screen, you can see some of the schemes in the pipeline for the coming year, which range in value from 1.5 million up to 2.7 million. These also include two major schemes in the agenda heartlands of Fleetwood and Liverpool, where communities are being completely redeveloped to deliver almost 400 homes. So there are some exciting times ahead. Just over there, you'll see some of the contract values on the various schemes that we've got coming up in the pipeline. Next scheme, please, Matthew.
Okay, so just to go through the next steps, as I said earlier, the stage one to put your applications in is actually live on the Proactis portal now. So the deadline for the initial applications is the 21st of December. There'll then be an internal evaluation period, and we'll communicate the outcomes end of January next year. And then, as I said, the DPS will then be open for the 10-year period where applications can be made at any time. The only thing we would say is you can only tender for works once you have been appointed. So we would advise you getting your applications in as soon as possible. As I've said earlier, if you register on Proactis and have a look, if you do have any questions or want any extra support, we do have support available. But yeah, the DPS is open for applications now.
Cheers, Abby. Thanks very much. There is a couple of questions in the chat, but not too many. So we're going to go through them one by one, and we'll answer as many as we can now. If you think of questions as we go, that's fine. Just note them into the chat. So the first one is: can the link to the DPS be sent out on the group, as Proactus is not always easy to navigate regarding facilities management? This is all regarding facilities management, is this all self-delivered? Are you looking for new partners? So there's two questions there. Can we send the link out, and in relation to facilities management? So Kate.
So just unmuting myself there. So yes, we can send the link out. If you're struggling, if you message the email address on that page directly, and then we'll ping it over to you. And regarding facilities management, Kev, are you able to address that, please? Don't know if you're on mute, Kev.
Sorry. Yes, we do deliver a proportion of those facilities management with direct labour, but we also look at supporting, and certainly the growth expectations of M&Y are to facilitate and deliver those services to external customers as well. So we would be looking at partnering and working with specialist contractors to deliver that works. And I think I did notice on the chat there where somebody was requesting, do we look at environmental cleans? Yes, we do, and would be looking at working with specialist contractors to do environmental cleans, is what we classification as sort of hazardous cleans in properties.
Thanks, Kev. Okay, the second question is in relation to asbestos removal. So we completed the process last time in respect of asbestos removal. How much of this remains relevant, and can it be used again? Kate or Abby?
I don't mind taking that one. So yeah, the DPS has been altered. As when we did a review, it wasn't very fit for purpose when we looked at it last time. That being said, structure and a lot of the questions is very similar. So a lot of the things that was used for your initial application should still be relevant and should support you on this application.
Okay, and probably one for you, Kev. What might be the typical annual spend on asbestos removal?
At this moment in time, M&Y do not remove asbestos. We put that through Regender specialist contractors. However, because we are part of the group, I couldn't give you a value on asbestos removal. We would bag up and train for unlicensed asbestos, but any specialist removal from site and also bagging up of asbestos, I couldn't give you a spend, but I would encourage you to look at the DPS, because we have looking for new contractors to appoint to do that works.
Okay, thanks, Kev. Another one for you, Kev. Do we offer a reactive extreme cleaning service, body spills, needle sweeps, etc.?
We do, yes, and that's part of that environmental clean. We do outsource that completely. We wouldn't take that with undertaking internally direct labour. So yes, we would be looking at specialist contractors to deliver that works for us.
Okay, and the final question is, can people have a copy of this presentation? And the answer to that is yes, of course you can. So I think that concludes all the questions that have been asked so far. On the screen now, you should be able to see an email address where further questions can be asked, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible on that. And as Abby and others have said on the call, if you do need support with completing the application, please do drop us an email, and we're very happy to support you. So thank you very much for your time and for your attendance this evening. It's much appreciated, and we look forward to working with you all soon. Thank you and take care.